All right. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on this great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, 2 days ago, we were talking about Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala being named one of the most powerful and influential women in the world by Forbes. Few weeks after she was re-elected the Director General of the World Trade Organization. Today, Super Eagles attacker Ademola Lookman was awarded the best player in Africa by CAF. Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka was also awarded the Women's Goalkeeper of the Year by CAF. This is how well Nigerians are doing individually. If I'm to begin rolling out the individual brilliance of Nigerians across the world in various endeavors, this video will not end. This is a blessed nation, but it has one curse, and sadly, that particular curse has all but neutralized all the blessings of this country. It is the curse of leadership. The system has been so corrupted that only the greediest and the most heartless of us find their ways to the top. The Nigerian system works in reverse with the world's reality. Every country in the world loves to embrace local production because through local production, the prices of goods or commodities can drop. But Nigeria is the opposite of reality. We were importing rice and a bag of rice sold for 9,000 naira. Now that we are producing rice massively in Nigeria, a bag is selling for over 90,000 naira. When we had no single refinery working in this country, petrol was imported into this country and sold for 200 naira per litre. It later moved to 617 naira per litre. Today we have a working refinery, the Dangote refinery. And instead of price dropping, petrol now sells for over 1,000 naira per litre. In fact, according to recent reports, more petrol was imported into Nigeria in the last 9 months than last year. Actually, we imported twice the amount we imported last year, now that we have a refinery. No scientist or economist can explain this mystery. It is just the Nigerian factor. And few hours ago, the TINUBU regime was stunned, or should I say shamed, when the terrorists they claimed to have killed, whose death they celebrated, and National Security Advisor RIBADU even gifted some army chiefs money, came out and once again humiliated the army. This is just shameful. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, one of the most ridiculous updates came out of Aso Rock. After taking more loans in 18 months than Buhari did in 4 years, Tinubu is coming out to cry out that Nigeria's debt is the reason he will fail. He's not only admitting today's failure, he is already predicting his failure in the future. Before I give you the details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these updates. First, let's take this video by Kenneth Okonkwo.
Kemi Badnoch, like any other human being on earth, is entitled to her own freedom of expression, and she should be allowed to do it without interference. If that is her opinion, she's entitled to it. You said the vice president asked her to drop her name.
Kemi.
Good. Name is not what makes you a citizen of a country. My name is Kenneth. That's Scottish. I am not from Scotland. So the mere fact that she's Kemi does not make her a Nigerian.
He identifies with
what makes you citizenship is determined by the circumstances of your birth and your inclination. She was born in London, Britain.
She grew up in Nigeria here and left at the age
She
16.
grew up at the age of 16 at maturity to say, I am British. That's her inclination. And then the same Kemi is a Badnoch. Badnoch is Caucasian. But that's by the way. What I'm trying to say is that having identified where she has decided she is from, she has actually said by implication she's not a Nigerian. She said she's Yoruba. That's her ancestry. That does not mean citizenship. And saying that she does not want to cohabit with the North automatically means I don't want to identify as a Nigerian. Because every country on earth has North and South. And Nigeria is Nigeria. And like you said, she's entitled to it. because Kemi does not make her a Nigerian. It's the circumstances of her birth and her inclination. And you can give up your citizenship. It's allowed. Some people had done it before. So her statement, coming to that, first of all, Shetima wouldn't have been the best marketing officer to confront that statement, because the president of Shetima will simply give veracity to her claims. Shetima, the vice president, who came in and accepted 21 billion naira to renovate her house, his house, when people are sleeping under the bridge, when there is already made beautiful VP house. That gives veracity to her claims. And then Shetima, that head to his private jet, and then said, I need a new one. This gives veracity to her claim. Shetima, as a governor,
that politicians
came in,
that the nation is brimming with thieving politicians.
Yes.
And remember,
Yes,
you are
I
one
agree.
of the politicians.
Sure. That does not mean she is wrong. I've continually said that our problem in this country is incompetence and corruption of the political class. You know, before Shetima came into power, during Goodluck Jonathan, we were priding ourselves as the #1 largest economy in Africa. And today we are ranking 4th. We are the poorest nation in Africa because we are harboring by United Nations report or World Bank report. More than 129 million Nigerians are poor. Look at our inflation. And look at our oil management. Today, we do not know how many barrels we consume. This is the product that we have. And for 30 years, we were pumping money into our refinery and it is not working. Does that not confirm that we have thieving politicians?
Of course, it confirms 100% that we have thieving politicians. And just like Kenneth Okonkwo, I am 100% in support of all that Ms. Kemi Badenoch said. The money that Shetima and Remi Tinubu have spent on touring the world this year alone, if effectively invested into agriculture, we would have seen huge impact. We have a regime that has failed at everything, including setting up a proper media team to just effectively talk to Nigerians. But how can you effectively communicate when there is nothing real to say? We have a political class that does nothing for the people except steal our commonwealth, yet they demand patriotism from everyone linked to Nigeria. What an aberration. But I don't blame them. I blame Nigerians who have continually allowed themselves to be trampled upon by the APC and their cronies. And nothing will change. This is how this country will keep going down. Nothing will change until the people say no. Now, let us look at the details of the top stories. We have the story regarding the popular terrorist whom the TINUBU administration claimed to have killed. The National Security Advisor, RIBADU, even gifted some army chiefs money congratulating them for killing him. But now, to the shock of Nigerians and to the shame of TINUBU, the same terrorist has come out daring him and his cabinet members. The other story is the shocking updates coming from TINUBU. TINUBU is now crying out over Nigeria's debt, admitting that it will lead to his failure in the area of infrastructure. You are the one taking loans. You are the one still complaining about debt. Let's start by taking that update. TINUBU government admits huge debts will limit its ability to invest in Nigeria's critical sectors. Sahara reporters. Bola Tinubu-led administration has continued its reliance on loans, despite admitting that huge debt servicing will impact the country's ability at providing development. In a statement on the medium-term expenditure framework of the government for 2025 to 2027, the government admitted that debt servicing impacts the ability of the country to develop. The sustainability of public debt remains a significant concern, as high debt servicing costs and limited fiscal spam constrain the country's ability to invest in critical sectors such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The MTEF document by Tinubu government reads, Total debt service cost in 2023 was 8.56 trillion. This represents 37% of federal government's expenditure and 69% of revenues. Improved domestic resource mobilization will significantly reduce government's borrowing requirements, it further read. While admitting the impact of heavy reliance on loans, the TINUBU-led administration has not stopped borrowing. The World Bank recently approved $500 million loan for the TINUBU-led administration, the 10th it would approve for this administration. As of June 2024, the country's public debt grew to 134.2 trillion naira, up from the 87.3 trillion it stood at when Tinubu came into power. Sahara Reporters earlier reported that Nigeria is set to spend 50 trillion naira on debt servicing between 2025 and 2027. A review of the medium-term expenditure framework of the country showed. You see, these people are just so funny, and they have no single regard for Nigerians. That's why they talk to Nigerians anyhow. I mean, what are we supposed to do with this information now? I presume it is for us not to expect anything at all from his government. Well, that is for those who were expectant in the first place. I already knew from their antecedents that they had nothing to offer. Now, he is already saying investments in the area of health, education are going to be stunted between 2025 to 2027 because of the debt that is on ground for them to service. You are saying this and you are still taking more loans. This is the same man who said he was removing subsidy so that there will be money to invest in these same infrastructure, in these same sectors. Now you have come to say, no, you can't invest in those sectors again because of debt. This confusion is just so much. And the Godfather here says, so all the money they keep borrowing is used for what? That is the big question. If you say that you are not going to be able to invest in infrastructure because of debt servicing, the money you are borrowing, what are you investing it in? These people are just confused criminals. And Danny here says, Tinubu never created wealth. Tinubu is only interested in taxing Nigerians to their bone marrows. That is it. All he does is to be recycling money. I collect as debt. They don't know how to create wealth. And this video says, what about the $500 million they collected from World Bank recently? That is it. If you are not investing in infrastructure, if we should expect serious decay in infrastructure, worse than what we already have now because of the debt servicing, because of the debts we have on ground to service, then this $500 million is for what? And Dr. Daily Tips here says, this government is clueless and not serious. That is just it. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, that bombshell from Bello Turji dropped. Bello Turji, the renowned terrorist that the Tinubu administration claimed to have annihilated. NSA knew RIBADU celebrated, distributed money. They decorated people. They said, well done. But now the man has come up and he's now daring the Tinubu administration. Look at how the papers reported it. Emboldened terrorist kingpin Bello Turji threatens to kill hostages over arrest of his ally Bako Wurji. Sahara Reporters. Notorious terrorist kingpin Bello Turji has reportedly contacted village heads in Shinkafi, Zamfara State, threatening to attack their communities to secure the release of his ally Bako Wurji from the security agencies. Sources familiar with the situation revealed that Turji has issued a warning to influential figures, including traditional leaders, saying he has already contacted influential figures in Shinkafi area like the village head / chiefs, threatening to attack their communities to ensure they secure Wurji's release from security services. Turji has allegedly pledged to use his significant resources, including people and livestock, to force the authorities into compliance. He has pledged to spend any amount of money or livestock necessary to ensure that Wurji is released, a counterinsurgency source, Zagazola Makama, added. However, Turji reportedly vowed to escalate the situation should his demands fail. He has vowed to execute some of the hostages currently in his custody, including residents from Isa, Sabon Birni, and Shinkafi. The source further disclosed warning of widespread violence across eastern Sokoto and Shinkafi towns. This is not the first time Turji has resorted to such intimidation tactics. 5 years ago, similar threats compelled the government to release Diko Chida, another of Turji's allies. At the time, Turji had warned of dire consequences, which ultimately led to negotiations and Chida's release. Sahara reporters reported on Monday that Wulji, also known as Baka Nagarba, was arrested by troops of the 1 Brigade Nigerian Army on December 14 in Shinkafi town, Zamfara State. However, the fear of Turji's threats materializing raised concerns about whether the government will hold firm or negotiate once again. Wulji's arrest is particularly significant as he was allegedly involved in the assassination of the Sarkin Gobi of Sabon Birni, Alhaji Isa Mohammed Bawa. Bawa's tragic killing earlier this year was marked by the chilling ransom demands, including 60 million naira and 5 motorcycles for the release of his remains. This is the situation. This is even worse than most of you think. This man, Bello Turji, first of all, he's saying that he's willing to give them cattle. He's willing to pay them to release his ally. Somebody who killed a renowned traditional ruler in Sokoto. He has been caught by the army. This man is coming out to say he is willing to pay them to release him. He said, but if they don't collect money, he said if they refuse to follow this peaceful pact that he's trying to have with them, he's talking to the government now, he will start killing the hostages in his custody. He's not hiding. He's going to meet the traditional rulers. If you followed what I read here, this is not an operation of somebody that is hidden. This guy is not hiding. This is not guerrilla war. He's coming out from time to time to discuss with them. He has captured that area. This is what we are seeing here now. And they are making, the country to believe that everything is fine because they have captured the media. And of course, about a month and a half ago, when they began the propaganda that they had killed this terrorist, Bello Turji, we asked for his body. Some people labeled us pessimists who don't like to hear good news about Nigeria. We said, no, this man has been terrorizing everywhere. Now you said you have killed him. You should present him for the nation to see. They said, no, that's not necessary. Now you are seeing what is happening. I hope some of you who called us pessimists then are watching this video right now. And the thing is, you will never come out to apologize, or better still, take your words back because I was not hurt by your doubts. But at least when things like this happen and the truth comes out and you see that we were correct, you should come out and say, sorry, I didn't know you knew this country so much. We are aware of all the gimmicks of the APC. And Johnson here says, so the Nigerian army has not been able to kill this criminal, bastard, Bello Turji. That is it. They have not killed him. Don Zaga here says, I think say they don't kill this man 12 times now. Now all these things make middle belt. They dissociate from north now. And this tweet here says, the same man the Nigerian soldiers claim they have killed, or maybe his ghost. That is the same way they have been lying to the world about everything in Nigeria. Devil Lugard caused all this. But thank God Biafra is free from this zoo lying machine country. Chai. And this tweet here by Gonye says, 2G with multiple lives. They always lie about everything. This is the same idiot that said they have killed him for over 8 times now. Jasper says, I thought Nigerian army said they have pie this man. That was what they said though. Ernesto says, security officials find it difficult to catch this man, but flex muscles on innocent people. What a shame. And Ramoto Olani here says, but they said they have killed this 2G many times. Or is he reincarnating? If you ask me, who I go ask. That is the APC for you. Lying about everything. They went to the point of influencing NBS, National Bureau of Statistics, to say that inflation has reduced in Nigeria, to say that GDP has grown. How can GDP grow when people are closing their shops, when businesses are folding? Everything that has to do with production, even the daily consumption of petrol shows it. It has dropped by half. And you are saying that GDP improved. How? How did the GDP improve when physical production is dropping? Now, the terrorists that they lied that they had killed has surfaced and is threatening them. But this is the APC. I don't expect anything less. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why we keep telling Nigerians that for us to still have a country in the near future, we must come together, cast aside our sentiments, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here, so don't go away.